Welcome to Group Study by One, reading the New Testament in original Greek. Today we're going to read what's left off from the verse 18, and hopefully we will read until verse 20. We talked about in verse 18 engastri ekusa, and how this is idiomatically used in the other texts. We have some of the examples, 3 examples in Matthew, and also we have Mark, Luke, and 1 Thessalonians, and Revelation. We're going to take a look at the Mark, Luke, and 1 Thessalonians. Mark 13:17. Ue the tes engastria huses, que tes thilazouses, and egines tesimeres. A warning. To those, warning to those, right? It has directions to someone. And in a Greek grammar too, it requires a dative. So ue tes as a dative plural of a feminine. Tes engastri ehuses. We talked about ehuses. It's a participle feminine, and in this case, it's a dative plural. Ehuses with tes with the definite articles of the feminine makes it a person. In this case, it's a plural. So women, to those who in womb having. Again, tes engastri ehuses. Having in the womb, the meaning is those women who are pregnant or who have a baby. So warning to those who are pregnant, and to those again, tes with the lazouses, feminine dative and a participle, makes it a person again. Thilazouses means it's from the verb thilazo, means to nurse. So tes thilazouses makes it a person, and to those who nurse. And egines tesimeres, in those days. If you look at English translation, you will see at the end of the verse the exclamation mark, because we have an egines though in those and tesimeres, the days, the double emphasis. So Matthew is putting the extra emphasis on, the Mark is putting extra emphasis on tesimeres, those days. That's why you see the exclamation mark. Let's look at Luke. Luke 21:23, the first part of the verse. Ue tes engastria huses, que tes thilazouses and egines tesimeres. It's amazing how Luke is using exactly the same expression, same sentence in his writing. Possibly Luke has the source from the Mark. Let's look at 1 Thessalonians 5:3, the second part of the verse. Όταν λέγουσεν ειρήνη και ασφάλεια, τότε ευνίδιος αυτής εφίσταται όλεθρος, όσπερ η οδύν τη εγκαστρή εχούση, και ούμοι εκφύγωσεν. Όταν is talking about the time, when, legosin, it's a participle with omega, it makes it a subjunctive participle, and osin as indication for participle from the word from lego, saying. So while they're saying irini, peace, and asphalia, security, tote, then, ephnidios avtis, sudden to them. What doesn't make sense? We have to find the verb. Ephistate. Now we have a verb. Ephistate is from the verb ephistemi. Epi plus istemi. This is a particular word that you have to memorize separately. Istemi. If you look up dictionary istemi and the verbal inflections chart, I recommend to memorize them. It's irregular, And if you don't know how it inflects, then it's hard to find a dictionary and define whether this word is from the Eastemi or other words. Ephestate means come upon. Olethros is death. So we have a now nominative noun, which is possibly here as the subject of the sentence. Ephnidios, so make it as an adjective. Ephnidios olethros, sudden death. Ephestate, will come upon, to them, aftis, dative, right? To them. Osper is given an example, like. Iodin, the pain. D, to them. Engastria. Again, we have in a singular forms with a definite article in the feminine, T and ehusi. Those, a person who has in womb. So again, to a person who has a baby, who is pregnant. So the pain for a pregnant woman, osper, like. Que umi ekphigosin. It's an interesting word order because you have to be careful when you see u, me, the double negations. If you see me, u with subjunctive, it makes a very different sense. Me, u is translated as scarcely, hardly, but when it's u, me, then it's affirmative negation. So surely not. Ekphigosin is from the verb ekphevgo, meaning to flee. So umi plus a subjunctive, or you will see sometimes with indicative futures, both in the sense of future events that will not certainly happen. So surely will not escape, will not flee. So in gastri accusa, we have looked at in some of the examples only from the New Testament, but you will also find various examples on Septuagint and also in a Greek literature as well. And gastri accusa, so the pregnant woman is talking about. Ekpnegmatos agiu, by the Holy Spirit. So the pregnant Mary, the pregnant itself is by the Holy Spirit. Verse 19. Iosif theo anir αυτής, δίκαιος ον, και μη θέλον αυτήν δειγματίσαι, ευλήθη λάθρα απολύσε αυτήν. Iosif, however, her husband, her man, comma. Scholars have put in comma to make it easier for us to translate. Dikeos on. Now we have again a participle. We talked about on, usa on, from an emi verb, amy verb in Erasmus. So being dikeos, righteous, and mithelon. Again, we have with the omega ni on and makes it this thelon participle from the verb thelo, not wanting. Not wanting. If you talked about want, I want to do something, I want to eat, I want to sleep, it usually accompanies an infinitive. In the Greek grammars too, we have thigmatise as an infinitive forms with the sigma alpha iota se from thigmatise. So again, being righteous and not wanting to vigmatizo. Expose is from the verb vigmatizo, meaning to expose, putting on a public place to give a shame or something. So not wanting to expose her. Exactly, we have an accusative aftin. Evlithi is from the verb volume. It's a definite passive, meaning the form itself is in passive form, and a volume, ome, and a passive medium, sometimes a medium and a passive. In this case, it's a passive form, but it has the meaning of an active. So it means I will, I want something. It's a synonym to thelo. With the augmentations in the theta, what makes it an error is the passive forms, right? Evlithi. But again, although it's in a passive forms, the meaning isn't an active. Evlithi, wanted, lathra, secretly. Lathra, this word occurs again later by the Herod. Apolise aftin. Apolise. We talked about the thelo, want, to, infinitive. And here the synonym, volume, also accompanies the infinitive. So we have apolise, again, the infinitive. Not, he didn't want, no, I'm sorry, he wanted to release. Apolise is from the apolio, release her sacredly. So he wanted to release her secretly. Forgot to mention here the zeta from the vigmatizo. The zeta, it's from the as a compound pronunciations with the delta and sigma. And the delta sigma, when it comes with the sigma and se in this case, an infinitive, then delta falls off. That's why it makes a vigmatice. Well, it's just one tip to understand better how the word changes. Not every word is explainable, or you have to know in depth the roots and everything, but it's not really the necessary to understand the text. Verse 20. In the verse 20, I separate three parts into the three parts. So the first part of verse 20. Tauta de aftu enthymitentus, idou angelos Kyriou, katonar ephani afto legon. However, this aftu enthymitentus, both are in the genitive forms. We talked about the thentos with the ent stamp, making a participle in the genitive forms. So aftu enthymitentos, you know this, both words go together, making a genitive absolute, meaning it makes its own sentence. So aftu is the obvious, the subject of enthymitentos is in a masculine form. So he is planning. So enthymitentos is from the words for enthymeome, meaning to devise or to plan something, to consider. So he is the one who's considering it now. And what is considering? Tafta. So we talked about in verse 19, tafta, this. However, while he's considering this, idou angelos Kyriou, behold, an angel of the Lord. Right? Kyriou is in genitive form, and kataonar, it's in it's a contractions in eclipse and a kat onar. We're missing alpha there. Kataonar is with a kata plus onar, and kata in the prepositions with genitive means against something. But in our case, it's accusative. It's timely when it's translated, it's during. or according to. Let's try to put in the text and translate it. Let's see. According to the dream, Ephani, it appeared. Doesn't make much sense. So kata onad, I think it's translated timely. So during his dream, during the dream, while he is having a dream, right? Ephani is from the word pheno, or in Erasmus, phino, appear. When I appear to someone, appear to somewhere, right? And then it accompanies the dative αυτό we have in Greek. Ephani αυτό, appear to him. Legon, again, in a participle form, saying. So he appeared to him and saying, verse 20b, Iosif, uios David, mi fovithis, para lavin Marian, din ginekasu. Joseph, the son of David, mi fovithis, do not fear. Fovithis is a foveomai, or foveome. Para lavin is from the word para lambano. Para plus lambano. Lambano itself changes in a different ways. Also, it's a regular verb that you have to memorize again. In the future forms, and I have here an aorist and a perfect and perfect passive, and also at the end the aorist passive. Limpsome, elavon, ilifa, ilime, eliftin. And sometimes in the aorist passive forms, eliftin is inserted with me, elimftin. So, para lavin as infinitive forms with the epsilon iota ni, and especially the circumflex on top, makes it para lambano, to take. So take Maria. What do you take? An accusative, you need an object. So Maria, take Maria. Who is Maria? Din ginekasu, your wife, your girl. Verse 20c. Togar enafti genithen, ek pneummatos estin agiu. So the angel is explaining here. Togar, gar, then, to enafti genithen. To and genithen makes it here together. Genithen is from the verb genau, and plus then at the end makes it a participle. Again, we have another case with a neutral definite article, to genithen, the begetting or the conceiving. The begetting in her. And where's the verb? Estin. The begetting in her is ek pneummatos agiu, from the Holy Spirit. Forgot to mention, sorry, the definite article plus a participle to genithen makes it a person, or in this case, sorry, it's a neutral case, and then it's instead of making it as a person, but the actions in ing forms and then in noun forms. To genithen, the begetting,